All right, today I'm going to walk you through how to fill out the exclusive right of sale transaction broker listing agreement. We're going to start by logging into Form Simplicity, and we're going to fill out the street address. Click the same as address button over here in transaction name, residential listing. Down here, we've got the listing pack, so we're going to go ahead and add that to the transaction. Boom. Now, for some reason, my computer didn't auto-populate the exclusive agreement. So we're going to go add blank forms. Anytime we need a file that's not in here, we click add blank forms. Make sure we're in all libraries. And we're going to look for the exclusive. And we're looking for the exclusive right of sale listing agreement. Transaction broker. Exclusive right of sale listing agreement. Transaction broker. Not to be confused with consent to transition. Exclusive right of sale listing agreement. Transaction broker. Now we're going to click it and we're going to fill it out. So here we go. Now we're going to look for the seller's name. Obviously, we can find that on the IMAP or tax records, where if we type in the address and make sure we got the right county, it'll give us all the information we need. The owner's name, legal description, etc. So we're going to go ahead and put that in up here. Once we get it, we're going to pretend the seller's name is John Doe for this one. Now we're going to put in the contract length. So we're going to put today's date over there on the left, and then either 6 months from now, or we're going to try to get year-long contracts. These are the best. The longer the contract, the better. You really want to go for the year-long contract. That'll give you plenty of time to sell the house. Now we're going to type in the street address, or we can copy and paste it from IMAP. 123 ABC Street, St. Cloud, Florida, 34772. So we got the street name, city, state, and zip code. Now we're going to need a legal description. So we're going to have to go into IMAP, tax records, and we're going to have to get the legal description. So if we zoom in, we can see legal description down here. I just pulled up a random property. We're going to copy that, and we're going to paste it into the legal description section. Now, personal property, including appliances, this is what does the seller want to take with them. They will not be leaving these items behind with the house. Typically, we see a washer and dryer. However, I do recommend that you leave this blank unless otherwise stated by the seller. Now, you've got an occupancy section here. We're going to determine whether this is occupied by a tenant or not occupied by a tenant. Not to be confused with the owner. This is occupied by a tenant. We obviously determine the price and the type of financing that the owner will take. Obviously, anything that puts money in their pocket. This section here, so we're going to check use a lockbox system, withhold verbal offers, withhold all verbal offers or offers once seller accepts. The top portion is if the seller didn't want us to do anything. We really don't want to fill that out if possible. We want to be able to do everything we can. Now, this section here is going to be any observable or unobservable code violations or defects that affect the property that the seller knows about. Hole in the roof, sinkhole, anything that's not really observable to the naked eye that the seller knows is a problem with the house. This section here is going to be the compensation section. So we're going to put our commission, the full percent, which I put 6% here as the full percent, plus my $250 office transaction fee. The rest of it we leave blank. If we take a step back here, we can see I put 90 days after the termination date. This is a protection period. This section here says if left blank, then we get to keep 50% of the escrow deposit. So leave it blank. If a buyer backs out, let's get a portion of that money for our hard-earned work. Down here, we're talking about what percentage we're going to pay a buyer's agent, a cooperating broker, if they bring a buyer to our listing. So if we got a 6% commission, we might split it in half evenly at 3 and 3, or we might split it unevenly, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5. Typical that a buyer's agent will make anywhere from 2 to 3% when they bring a buyer. Down here we have conditional termination. At seller's request, broker may agree to conditionally terminate this agreement. Now, this is a section where you want to make sure you're going to be made whole again. So whatever it costs you to bring that property to market, if the seller wants to cancel, you want to make sure that they make you whole again. So if you spent $250 on photos and that's it, let's get that money back if they want to cancel. Here's a dispute resolution section. Basically, the seller has to sign, you have to sign, and the broker has to sign, or initial, I should say. Additional terms. Don't go crazy. Don't put anything in there if you don't have to. You're not an attorney. Don't mess up the contract by adding stuff to the additional terms. Just to recap, seller's name, brokerage name, contract length, 1 year, street, legal description, the price of the property is going to be listed at. Allow us to use a lockbox, show it on the internet, full commission percentage, plus a transaction fee, the 90-day termination or the 90-day protection period, the cooperating section, how much we're going to pay other brokers, and your termination fee up there. And then leave these additional terms blank, please. Talk to your broker if you have to put additional terms in there. But let's try to keep it simple. And then you would hit save and close. And then we're going to e-sign it. So we check that box and we click e-sign. Boom.